My name is Gene Xu. I'm a China business coach, trainer, and advisor, but more importantly, I'm an ABC. That's American-born Chinese. The concept is called样样通样样松. At the intersection between America and China, I'm concerned about the lack of cultural awareness on both sides. So I started having conversations with my unborn son. I want to try to explain our world in context in order for him to make better sense of his world. And I want him to develop a healthier attitude, mindset, and approach towards anyone from a different culture. Most Chinese don't really look favorably towards Americans as they used to, and that's just the trend. And that has a lot to do with what's going on geopolitically. Welcome to Season 2 of Generational ABC Podcast, another series of conversations between me and my unborn son, one ABC to another. My 15 to 20 years of business in China working with Americans is that most of them get in a lot of trouble because they lack awareness about how they are perceived. Hey, little buddy, it's your father again. We're in our new home. And so I lost touch with you for a couple of days, moving and all of that stuff, but I wanted to make sure I got a message out to you today. So the thing that I want to share with you today, I'm going to say it in Chinese first, and then I'm going to kind of try to explain it in English. The concept is called yàng tōng样松. And what that means, and you'll probably understand Chinese, but for the other listeners, it just means that you can be fairly decent at many things. And this is what your father was, which is me. Growing up, I was decent at many different things. I was decent at many sports. I was decent in many hobbies. I could play guitar, I could play piano. I was pretty good at baseball. Actually, I was pretty good at all sports, including golf and tennis and billiards. But I never became a pro or an expert in anything. And then fast forward into the recent businesses and career moves that your father's making, I'm starting to experience kind of like a similar, almost like dilemma, where there are many opportunities and I'm struggling with focusing on becoming an expert at any one particular field, okay? So how does this relate to the relationships or the affairs between America and China? Actually, I don't really know yet. Like I said, I don't rehearse or script any of these. I just kind of try to talk to you. And this series of podcasts was going to be kind of turning points in my life and in my career and maybe in my business. So if I want to take this subject out a little bit further, I think the year in which you are born, which is going to be 2019, this is going to be another turning point. And the question is, how do I deal with this turning point projecting out into the future? Because my life is going to change when you enter the world. And this yàng tōng yang sōng concept, it kept on going through my head today because one of the things that I look back in hindsight is that, I think I could have been great at a lot of things if I had just chosen one. But I don't think anybody can be great at a lot of things. So ultimately it requires that you make some type of sacrifice. And probably I had so many things that I enjoyed doing and I liked doing that I never really made that sacrifice where, okay, I'm not going to play these other sports. I'm not going to play music. I just want to be a professional baseball player. Things like that never happened. And I'm starting to kind of experience very similar situation with career and business opportunities now. There's a lot of business opportunities that I am currently engaged in, but each one of those would require almost my full-time attention in order for me to excel and to become good or great. And so right now I'm kind of in this dilemma on how I want to allocate my attention and my time and my energy and even my resources. And obviously you're going to be the number one priority, but all of this is to build a better future for us as a family. Now, again, how would I relate this to what's going on between the US and China? Well, let's see. I think a lot of Americans, when they go to China, they're already good at what they think they are good at. So maybe this is stretching a little bit, but another word for that is myopia, which means that most foreigners, at least up until this point, because most Americans traveling to China up until recently, the recent couple of years, Americans have always been kind of at an elevated status when they go to China. And this was especially true 15, 20 years ago. And of course, that trend has gradually decreased, where at the current moment, it's, Chinese don't look, most Chinese don't really look favorably towards Americans as they used to. And that's just the trend. And that has a lot to do with what's going on geopolitically, but it also has to do with, as Chinese people come into higher levels of competence and knowledge and sophistication, and they're backed by the largest economy and a lot of cultural things that they can be proud of, or we can be proud of, then most Americans, if they don't change the way they think about their own expertise, that can get them into a lot of trouble. So my 15 to 20 years of business in China working with Americans is that most of them get in a lot of trouble because they lack awareness about how they are perceived, and they can't get over the fact that they are no longer kind of at an elevated status where they're bringing know-how and technology in. Yeah, sometimes the companies are bringing technology in, but the know-how that was so valued coming from the West 10 years ago probably isn't that valuable anymore. And that's one of the things that most foreigners, and I think most Americans, when they go to China, they lack that awareness that just because they are a senior director for a Fortune 500 company, that they somehow don't really need to earn their own personal credibility and establish their own personal guanxi relationships when they go to China. Okay, so I hope that you will have many interests as you are growing up, because I will help you engage in a lot of different things, a lot of activities, a lot of sports. So hopefully you can discover where your passion is, because I think it's really important to discover that passion early on so you don't just become competent or decent in a lot of different things, but eventually you can specialize and really dive deep into something that you're passionate about and something that you care about and something that you want to make an important aspect of your life for the rest of your life. And I have just so many interests. I still want to play guitar. I still want to be good at golf. There's just so many things going on. And now I want to be good in all the different businesses that I'm involved with. But I'm at a turning point where I do know the value of focus and priorities. And hopefully that will translate into what I'm able to do over the next 5 to 10 years. And hopefully this message helps any body listening put their own myopia and understanding into a greater cultural context and situational context when they are doing business in China. And hopefully for you, you'll listen back at this and you'll just laugh at how foolish your father was and how much better off you are. All right? Love you, little buddy. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Listen and subscribe on Apple Podcasts,